read that again?
Yes. He who binds himself, rewind. He who binds to himself a joy does the winged life destroy, but he who kisses the joy as it flies lives in eternity's sunrise. William Blake. Gary Snyder, the Zen poet, it says here, suggests we begin simply by offering thanks on a daily basis for our lives, our food, our friends, our breath. And quote from Gary Snyder, grace is the first and last poem. Grace is the first and last poem. If one has all the good luck in the world but takes it for granted, it will not give you any joy. It's not joy that makes us grateful. It's gratitude that makes us joyful. Oh, I have so many different wonderful things to share. Saving this one for the end. Okay. Now here's an oldie but a goodie. The Prophet.
Yeah.
Then a woman said, "Speak to us of joy and sorrow." And he answered, "Your joy is your sorrow unmasked, and the self-same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears, and how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? And is not the lute that soothes your spirit the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you're joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it's only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you're sorrowful again, look in your heart, and you'll see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy. Only when you are empty are you at a standstill and balanced. Well, who knew that that was so Zen? Who knew? So, wonderful, wonderful Zen teaching from the Prophet, that both arise together. Both arise together. And of course, with our Zen training, we're always talking about trying to stay in the middle and not falling over too much into one or too much into the other. But I would say, for goodness sake, fall over into joy. It's far easier, I find far easier to slip over into the more miserable side. So, if someone is interested in working on this, once again, I can't recommend this book highly enough. You can actually, it gives you a little bit of a teaching like that, and then it gives you a meditation, a specific meditation to do on that topic. Now I know that usually we try to do our zazen and stay here in this moment and de-stress that way. There's nothing wrong with using a few other methods. And if there's something in particular, I can't show you what is inside you that you'd like to work on. You can find that in your zazen. But if there is a specific issue to work on, there are different meditations that you can bring into your practice, use for that particular thing, and then let go of it.
What's the name of the book?
Legacy of the Heart.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah,
I'll
Wayne Muller, yeah.
share it around upstairs too. I would never have known, could never have guessed that a discipline like Zazen would have brought me so much joy. In my life previously, I felt like even the times when I was feeling good, that I was kind of standing on thin ice. And that when the feeling good stopped, I would fall through that thin ice into this underneath. And simply through Zazen, and through being able to open up and communicate with good folks like yourself, the burden has eased in my life. And now I can get miserable bits, but I know that underneath the ice, that's okay now. That's all right now. So I cannot recommend highly enough. That's the only reason that I go around and talk about meditation or talk about practicing, finding a spiritual practice, because it brought me to joy. And I'm no different than you. I am you. So there's no reason for anyone to be stuck at the door of knocking on the door. Where's my joy? What happened to my joy? As Rumi says, you've been knocking on the door your whole life, and when it opens, you realise you've been knocking from the inside. You've got it right in here. I'm only, me and I have to utilise it one more time. Me and my friend Buddha here. We know that you have it in here. Now, no one can give you something from the outside. It's all actually contained right here inside yourself. I've been doing an awful lot of talking in the last few weeks at many, many different churches. I talked on, let me see, I hope I get it right. No on Prop 8. Yes on Prop K. And thank goodness Prop L failed. I think those were my three. And I've been watching how divided we can often get over things like politics. And one of my students, who's heading for Jukai soon, good old Bill, said, the most important thing in Buddhism is that we're all actually interconnected. And that's the part, the interconnectedness, the realising that we're all the same. I'm not better than you, you're not worse than me, no one's up high, no one's down low. The connection, the fact that we're all vulnerable, the fact that no one's going to get out of this alive, that's what brings the joy. And looking at all these different groups, now I've joined, what do you call it, what's the word? Who's got the word on me before? Where lots of people join together. Not a consortium, I've joined a collective to end poverty. Thank you, a collective to end poverty. And when I stood on the steps of the City Hall the other day and I looked at all the people I was standing with, and there were people from Axis of Love, that's the medical marijuana people, there were people who had been standing in the Unitarian Church with a couple of days before talking about prostitution. There were people of all colours, there were tons of gay people, and I thought, it's time we all came together over these issues. The way to find our joy is with each other. It's a lot easier to find joy if we join up with people. And feeling, identifying as one of the oppressed can be kind of a not particularly joyful thing to do. And at the same time, if we unite against this, well, let me just read this poem to finish off, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Another one of my favourite people, Maya Angelou. I think I'll have to let him read this because I'm just I've got nothing up my sleeve. See, you almost had to read that, but you escaped. We don't know if you can read or not. So.